And then guess what's going to happen to follow? I am going to not only sue that boy and his parents, I'm going to sue you and the school board and whatever administration all the way up as far as I can take. I'm taking because they hired you and they gave you either the power to make this rule or they gave you the rule or whatever the heck y'all got going on. I'm coming after you all legally. And I will have a female black woman lawyer beating I up in the courtroom while I sit there eating popcorn. Ridiculousness. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? Absolutely nothing. This is the umpteenth view. I want to welcome you to another episode. Tis I try times. JusHenry, the original, the one, the only, the always ready to keep things righteous. Well, flowing, righteous. I try to be as righteous as possible. I am a man. I'm just a man. And this is the good cousin.
I had a brain fart. Hold on. Is that countdown a reference from anger management?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Second.
No, actually, no. It was from Family Matters, where Carl Winslow
Yeah. Steve, look what you've done. You have creamed my garage door.
Oh, easy, big guy. Temper.
3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me?
Wiz Reads Wise in the Flesh Kid People, the hip hop nerd. If you haven't heard that, righteousness. That's what I was fixated on. And I like it. Righteousness is something we often should strive to do.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Well, hey, look here. A while back, got a call from the school. Principal said my daughter was being expelled for striking another student. And I said, oh, shit. So I go up to the school. Well, there's an ambulance outside the front of the school. I didn't think nothing about that. But, anyway, I go in, principal says that she struck another student and that he was a senior and, you know, my daughter's 2 grades lower than this kid. So I said, why'd she strike him? He wasn't clear on that. He wasn't sure. A friend of hers, they had several witnesses sitting outside the office. I asked them, I said, what happened? They said that kid grabbed her chest. Well, principal said they do not condone violence at that school, and
Stick with it.
She was going to be expelled. I said, so what about the boy? He was transported to the hospital. He was not going to be expelled. I said, so you do condone sexual harassment?
Boom.
He said, Mr. Lowry, no, we don't. I said, it's okay. So he is going to be expelled then, or my daughter will not be expelled. One of the two. Anyway, he said that school policy was if you feel threatened or anything like that, you fall down into fetal position and you cover your face.
Keep watching.
I said, so you mean to tell me right now, and I did, I told him this right point blank. In front of office personnel and everything. I said, you mean to tell me if I come across this desk and go to whooping on your ass, you gonna crawl down into fetal position and cover your face? I don't think you will. I think you gonna fight back there, brother.
You better hope so.
Thank you.
No, Mr. Lowry, it's different. We're adults. I said, no, bullshit. It ain't no damn difference.
That's right.
I have taught my kids to take up for themselves. And that is exactly what's wrong now. All these gosh dang idiots making up these rules and everything else, and people can get away with any freaking thing nowadays. And no, there's no retaliation. There's no consequences to actions anymore. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. That little boy,
You ain't put no hands on somebody else.
Watch this.
I guarantee you, from now on, he is going to think twice about grabbing another girl's chest. I promise you. My daughter kicked him in the groin and ridge-handed him in the throat and collapsed his esophagus. He had to be transported to the hospital. Now, mind you, yes, I do feel bad for that young kid. But you know what? He got what he freaking deserved. Touch my daughter and they gonna jack your ass up. Plain and simple,
Right.
End of discussion. That is the way it's gonna be, black and white. Mess with my kids and you're gonna get a shitstorm. Telling you, Lowry blood is bad.
I love that video. I love that video on so many levels. First off, props to the daughter and the father for teaching his daughter to defend himself.
Straight up.
The school is a problem. We're talking about education system.
Problematic.
If you say you're gonna expel a girl for defending herself,
Ooh.
I don't want my child at your school, right? And it sucks because it may be the only school in this district, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna figure something out. We're gonna drive 2 miles so you go to a better school, one that allows you to defend yourself. I don't know. There used to be a bet in the woods. You see the movie about dudes grabbing girls' booty, and it was a thing growing up in school. I pointed out because this is something we did. And in the woods, she fired on them in response. The brothers laugh at him like this. This is part of the growing up.
Yeah.
Don't put your hands on a woman and think it's free 99.
Right. Unless it's invited.
Right. So for this man to teach his daughter, your body is your temple.
Amen.
Nobody just come up on it without retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
And the school to say, if you are violent, you're supposed to go in the fetal position.
In the fetal position, which I love how he challenged immediately.
What do you say if I jump over this table, beat you up while I'm hitting you? You gonna balk?
Just curl up in the fetal, aren't you?
What type of man is you? What
Thank
type
you.
of person is you?
Right.
To not want to defend yourself.
Right.
I love this video. I really wish you stopped giving me triggering stuff. I would take the Christianity conversation on this any day. Because this riles my spirit.
It should. He's a great storyteller, mind you.
Yes, any to way. When we talk about
That was great. That was perfect, right?
my
In it to way.
curiousness in language, man, to know where he's from based off of that saying,
Yeah.
because I've never heard it before, so I want to figure it out.
That's funny.
But that's the type of stuff I love. That's the type of stuff.
Yeah. Oklahoma.
Never been.
Booyah.
Never been. But that's the type of stuff I
I've been to
love.
Oklahoma one time.
Yo,
That's
but
crazy.
I really want to know if his daughter got suspended or expelled.
Honestly, here's my issue. I would accept a couple days suspension, mainly because of the fact the boy had to go to the hospital. That would be the only thing that I would kind of.
That's interesting.
I would be in like, all right, baby. So come on. I know we want to quell or quench whatever the environment feeling is there, so that we can say, okay, there was an act, that something happened. Let's bring you out of there. Let things cool down, and then you can go back into school, and we'll try to function from that point. That'd be the only ground that I would say suspension would be. I would accept that. Expulsion, you got me bent, because this child is matter of fact, if you're not going to accept the terms that I have, I will. Matter of fact, I might press charges regardless, whether you keep my child in this school or not, because of the sheer fact that I have witnesses that he basically groped my daughter. He molested my daughter. He sexually harassed my daughter in your school, on your grounds.
Didn't he say he condoned violence?
And then guess what's gonna happen to follow? I am going to not only sue that boy and his parents, I'm gonna sue you and the school board and whatever administration all the way up as far as I can take. I'm taking because they hired you and they gave you either the power to make this rule, or they gave you the rule, or whatever the heck y'all got going on, I'm coming after you all. Legally. And I will have a female black woman lawyer beating I up in the courtroom while I sit there eating popcorn. Ridiculousness. I'd have to ask the judge first.
2 things. First up, you mentioned school don't condone violence. Groping a girl, that's sexual harassment, which is a form of violence.
It literally is.
It's violence is unintended harm to something.
Thank you.
That she want to put the whoop the bams on them.
And that's literally a worse crime if you want to look at it.
Yeah. She want to put the whoop the bams on him if he hadn't assaulted her. It's as simple as that, right? You don't get to measure how violent something is. Only the person that's inflicted upon. Which is why I think it's interesting that you would take the suspension over expulsion. I wouldn't, for me in my brain, I think it'd be teaching a bad message.
To accept the suspension anyway?
Yeah, because then what happens if she just set a standard for other women, if you feel violated, defend yourself. And then what happens if someone else is like, oh, they're suspended for 2 days, I may miss a test. She allows this young sir to do it. Because
there's a consequence for your reaction. And here's why I would say that. Even if he was wrong and say she busts off and killed the guy, I'm not condoning the actions or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because some people can go away for like manslaughter and all that stupid stuff behind it. That's what I'm saying. It's because there's a way that the judge or a lawyer can prosecute you for your reaction, then there's a way that we should be able to still hold ourselves accountable for our reaction. Even though our reaction was warranted, which is kind of would be able to say that some courts would say that if they got to the point of saying that was self-defense, they would throw out the case, right?
Right.
So if that were the case, then I understand what you're saying.
Right.
But that's not... I think that the severity of punishments here is more like a teaching tool than an actual detriment to the child. I understand what you're saying though, is the farther message. So I can receive that.
I'm gonna have to.
I can definitely receive that.
Because I'm curious. Like I
can receive that what you're saying. Though.
I think
That's
you bring
right.
up a fantastic point of what you can be prosecuted for, and then I was like, well, if the defense is good, they would point out that this was a reaction to somebody intending harm, which would be self-defense. But even still, if it has to go to that level, it still takes some extra level of processing. Much like along the lines, I think, for example, the going with the death of it. Well, she hit his throat. He had to go to the hospital. So she defended herself fairly well. And then there's one of those questions like, all right, did she hit him, send him into hospital after he's already down? Then she should walk away. Versus you grow me, bam,
right?
Or somebody pull a knife on you. They're close. You turn and you stab them. You call the police. Right, you still show concern, and those things are liable for self-defense. Versus you knock somebody on the ground, let me keep stumping them. Don't do it again.
Right.
You know, that's different. Right. There's levels to it. So I think you bring up a good point, and I want to pause on a little bit. I personally would teach my daughter as he is. You defend yourself fast, quick, easy. I don't know if I still would appreciate my daughter getting suspended, or you go at home and you get your schoolwork versus you suspended and no schoolwork. Because like I said, I knew an Asian girl who was big on her studies, and she let people harass her, do all types of stuff because she didn't want to let her parents down because grades are so important to them. So that's one thing I just
that's self-sacrificing.
Yeah, and it's not worth it, man.
No, I get it. People, we do need to reinstill the value of a person. Yes. Also, what I'm just gonna say is, as far as the coming home and the suspension thing, it's literally happened already. To where my daughter has hit the boy that kind of hit her.
Okay.
So
I was about to say kinda.
Well, it's been happening. She said it's been happening a lot.
Oh, she got fed up?
And she got fed up.
All right.
But the thing is that I told her the system. I said, I need you to, boy touch you, hit you, go to the teacher. Boom. Whatever the teacher tells you, you bring back to me so that I know that the teacher knows. And then the next time we could hold everybody accountable, that follows. I understand that this is because to me, a petty thing like that, that doesn't deserve you lashing out, scratching and pulling hair and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's why I said I needed to be in order.
I can feel that.
So then when I can get this information,
Because if it goes
I'm gonna come back to the teacher and say, hey, how are things between my daughter and this boy?
Right.
Oh, it's still going on. Or my daughter comes to tell me again, he done it again. So guess who's showing up? Because I've already established the order and things, and I need to be able to enforce some things now so that I can make everybody move. When my daughter took it into her own hands, I said, all right, well, you kind of didn't tell me. I only found out about this after the fact, which kind of puts me at a detriment, puts me at a point where I can't really like go in there making noise.
Can't defend your cause.
Because of the fact that you've already taken the juice out of it.
Right.
That's the wind out the sail, so to speak. I told her though, first things first is I need you to follow the format in the future, which is the only lesson that I had for my daughter. The rest, you ready to eat? You hungry? I'm glad that you did that though. How'd you do it? You know, where'd you kick him? Because she kicked him. And I'm like, where'd you kick him? And well, hey, I don't want you to be a bully because you know daddy doesn't like bullies. I don't want you to go being a mean girl to cause people to want to fight you all the time. But you are not to allow them to just beat up on you. So that was the lesson. And I praised my daughter for her actions. It's even though I had to correct the beginning of it, but the motive behind it was right. She was defending herself, and I will never tell her she was wrong for that part. Never. But I did have to, be daddy. But then I was like, you kicked him good, didn't you? Okay, girl. You know what I'm saying? So I did teach you a few things, right? It was like one of those moments where I kind of was like conflicted a little bit. Because I want to go and wreak havoc. You know what I mean? Like, I want to shut everything down, but I still got to teach her that there's an order to everything. And then when things are done correctly, there's more emphasis I can place. There's more cards I can play. There's more consequences I can kind of bring to their attention. Have I talked to the teachers them since? Yeah, I had to, because I just want to make sure y'all know that I know. And I'm not her mom, okay? I'm not her mother. I'm her father. And this is my daughter, my firstborn. And please understand that I will die for her. Y'all ain't got nothing to hold me back. Nothing. So anyway, what I'm getting to is tender subject that needed to be brought to our attention, and we need to talk about it because of the sheer fact that we got to prepare ourselves. You especially, because now's the time to start getting yourself, your thoughts organized, your spirit organized for when those scenarios come up, bro. Because that's your num. You hear me? You hear how you see how you feel when we talk about these things? It's gonna be the same energy, bro. But it's just a matter of how we control ourselves and how we act in those moments. It's
interesting, man. I think that was a great example because it definitely got me sitting there thinking. I don't know if Num Nums is older, like she's in middle school and she's developing, and someone found that out. I don't know if I want her to tell me first. I want her to tell me after she frees herself. But like I said, for mentions,
I get that. I get what you're saying.
A bad thing. Yeah. I'm just trying to teeter-totter. I think it's great. It's such a great video. Such a great discussion.
And yeah, I would prefer her to, because just like with grown women or any woman or any man that had to deal with great, I want the culture of coming out with it to be embellished. I need
vocalize, yes sir.
I need this to be yelled from the mountaintops, man, because if the culture welcomes the actual victim to say something sooner, that it'll save a lot of scenarios, because one, we have the investigations that can be done sooner than later.
First off,
so that we can make sure that everybody is not just by her word, it's what we can prove in the court of law and send this person away so that they can never do this again. That's my belief. I'm a firm believer in that, because if just by her saying it, that can't be the only thing to condemn somebody. I know it's the start though. It needs to be done. It needs to be starting because that's how you start investigations and get people locked up for real because you gotta have a case.
I don't even know what the notion of not speaking out for yourself. If someone does harm to you, speak out. Period.
That's confusing to me.
That's weird as. That's the whole thing about the Me Too stuff. Like I can't imagine someone doing harm to someone I know, myself, and I ain't telling you point there and there. I don't. That's a conversation. See, this is what I've been talking about.
Yo, y'all can't tell, but he's red as his outfit right now. But this is a good topic. Y'all let us know how y'all feel in the comment section. Because I honestly think we should talk about these things more often, especially us on daddy duty, man. The men that really want to be a part of their children's lives. These are things that temperament, and tolerance are things that a man, I believe, can teach their children a little more than their mother. Because the mother, on the other hand, she more than likely gonna say, you didn't do enough damage. You get what I'm saying? Am I wrong in that? I'm just being facetious too, but discretion and discernment.
She send them to the hospital, make them come back, go back to the hospital.
What hospital you at, baby? Let's go finish the job. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call your Uncle Chauncey. He go over there for us. Chauncey. He's crazy. Anyway, we at the Umpteenth View are always trying to be better than we were yesterday. Not only men, not only black men, but black men that are fathers, that choose to be fathers, that want to be fathers, that are taking pride in being the best father for their children that they can be. And it's not to brag on anybody else, you know. It's just that's what gives me joy. Like seeing my children in the clothes that I provide, eating the food that I provide.
My baby. Play on me, here you go.
Nums in another room, my bad. Umpteenth View, we love y'all. Like, comment, share. We'll see y'all on the flip side, all right?
Oh.